All right, we're rolling. Another episode of the Tipitina's Record Club podcast. I'm Ben Ellman.
This is Robert Mercurio.
And Rebirth Brass Band. Feel like funking it up.
Yeah, really excited. This release is super fire.
Yeah, this is just a classic New Orleans brass band record with some songs on it that you'll hear every Mardi Gras. Really influential record. This is the first vinyl reissue, originally on Rounder Records.
And we have some amazing guests that come in to help us talk about it.
We got Davis Rogan with us, DJ Davis, the real DJ Davis. And we have Derrick Shezbie, also known as Kabuki, a longtime member of the Rebirth Brass Band and Grammy Award-winning artist.
Mm-hmm. Amazing talent, and Davis's extreme knowledge of the brass band scene.
Davis did a radio show on WWOZ for years, and it was kind of a mecca of brass band culture and music that was being made at the time.
Yeah, so let's bring him in.
You didn't do a pitch.
Okay, we'll do the pitch. All right, here's the pitch.
Here's the pitch. Yeah, we're a record club. We're the Tipitina's Record Club. You sign up for 3 or 6 months, and we'll mail you some really killer music.
Yeah, wow, that was a quick pitch.
That's what it is.
Let's bring him in.
Well, let's start. We got Derrick Shezbie, also known as Kabuki, Grammy Award-winning artist, culture bearer of New Orleans.
That's right.
And we've got the one and only Davis Rogan, also known as the real DJ Davis. I guess we could get into that in a little bit.
Absolutely. Hello, man. Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
All right.
Same as me.
Kabuki's got a run. He's got a gig.
Classic.
So we just got a few minutes with Kabuki, and then we'll swing into some stuff with Davis.
So I just want to jump right in here because I didn't want to blow all the good stuff when I was giving you a ride over.
Right, yeah,
but
yeah.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Donald Richardson, who was the band teacher at Bell Junior High School, and how important he was to like the brass band revolution, and to, since we're talking about the Rebirth, and this is the re-release of Feel Like Funkin' It Up, which is the first record that you did on the Rounder label,
1989.
If I remember, so you did that little 7 or 9 song thing with Milton Batiste that had like My Song and all that kind of stuff.
That's right.
And then this was the first one that you did with Rounder, but Donald Richardson.
I could say there's so many words that I could describe him. He was an icon. I mean, you had so many great talented musicians came from Andrew J. Bell. Not just me, you had Rebirth Andrews before me with my brother at the time. Not just that, before I even pick up a trumpet when I was just in elementary. But I used to go and cut class from Phyllis Weekly just to hear the band. When I was with Rebirth Andrews, who got me off the step that was going to Andrew J. Bell, who learned from Donald Richardson. Also under the influence of Key Wolf Anderson.
Now, you were telling me this. What I didn't realize is that Wolf. You were telling me that. Tell me there was some confusion because someone didn't know that they were talking about Wolf when they were talking about Keith.
Oh, it was Derrick Tabb. He also went to Bell too, and he asked Donald Richardson one day, "Who is Keith Anderson?" And Donald Richardson told him, he was one of my main, advanced students that used to take over my class whenever I left. And Derrick Tabb never knew him as Keith Anderson.
He only knew him as Wolf.
He only knew him as Keith Wolf Anderson.
Yeah.
And then when he found out who Wolf really was, he had to tell Wolf, man, I didn't know that you was all that, Andrew J. Bell, because Donald Richardson, Meathead, said that you was the man that took over.
Wow.
With the tuba, whether it was the trombones or the trumpet, even the drum, he just had everything on point. That's how talented that Wolf was.
Wolf was teaching the class. So
cool.
Lineup, we're looking at like the super original lineup, because I'm remembering when Phil said that he had added you. Okay, so like there was a
wait. First off, you got to back up because I think maybe there might be some listeners who have no idea even what we're talking about.
We're so inside baseball here.
Yeah, exactly.
This is kind of for people that don't know.
We are talking about the history of the Rebirth. We're talking about Kabuki, Derrick Shezbie.
Yeah.
But first off, the Rebirth, what year did they start?
I'm going to say 84.
They was getting together in 82. Kermit and Phil, from what I knew, they started in 83. But the band was really consistent as a band in '84.
Okay, because to back people up, Andrew J. Bell Junior High School is a junior high school that had a really incredible band program that wound up being a feeder for so many of the seminal brass bands and stuff. It was the Rebirth. It was kind of like a outshoot of the high school band of Joseph S. Clark, right? Joseph S. Clark
That's
Bulldogs, right? And so that would have been Kermit, Phil,
And Keith
Wolf, a guy named Bird.
Bird. Eric.
Yeah, and then there was there a snare drummer before Eyes, or was Eyes the first?
Well, Eyes was the first.
Okay,
Bird
so
came
Kenneth
after
also,
Eyes, and he also
right.
was a club, member too.
Okay, so this is, but Eyes, Kenneth Austin was the snare drummer on Feel Like Funkin' It Up, right?
That's right.
And how old were you? Were like 13, 14?
No, I was like about 10 years old because on the
89.
the 89,
Really?
going into the glass house, I got my ass whipped. Well, my butt whipped. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
That's
But
all good.
It's all right.
because I didn't want to do the glass house album. I actually was going on 11, and my mama slammed my trumpet in front of Tannehill. And Fat Man said, "If you don't do the album, I'm gonna kill you." So I went and did the glass house album. So I knew I was 10 years old on the Feel Like Funkin' It Up Part 2 album.
Oh my lord!
Yeah,
But that Feel Like Funkin' It Up record. So you are the very young kid
That's
on
right.
the cover of that
yeah,
record.
that picture, yeah.
Yeah, so
Now, whose idea was that for that goofy photo?
that was
Rick Olivier. I bet,
Rick
right? 'Cause
Olivier.
Rick Olivier took that picture.
Oh yeah, that's right. And matter of fact, on the album cover,
You remember
Yeah.
where that was? Was that,
I know where it was at.
where was it?
When I be playing in the Jackson Square right next door, there's a new building that
It said like
Oh, the-
on the
oh, the
Petite
theater.
on the
Theater.
It's right
corner.
there.
No, not the good building. It's right on that corner.
It said Petite Theater.
And every
on
time
the
I
credits.
look at it, I
Oh,
know.
La Petite.
Yeah.
The
You
La
know that
Petite.
it's a restaurant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they sit right, and I say, man, I tell the band, I say, you know what? That's where me, Wolf, and all of us did the video. I mean, on the album cover right here in the building, it's a restaurant now.
So what do you remember about the session?
What I remember about the session so much to where Keith was calling the shots. I can't lie, I have to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Even Kramer knew was there, but
Keith
Wolf
yes.
Keith Wolf
Yeah.
Anderson, the trombone player for the Rebirth.
yeah. And matter of fact, he was the only trombone on that CD. It wasn't Reds because he didn't made it.
Oh wow.
But it was just me. It was Derrick Wiley. It was Eyes. It was Philip. It was Keith. I mean, when I say Keith, it was Kermit. And who else I left out? Well, I said the other Keith, yeah, Frazier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Prince.
And Prince.
John
right.
Gilbert. It was like 7 of us. It was 9 in the band. I think it was 8 most of all because Raz was the only one missing. But Wolf
And
was the
that
main one with
Ultrasonic, or where'd you guys do it at?
Ultrasonic.
Yeah.
I think that was somewhere around Xavier.
Yep, right there.
Somewhere, yeah.
Right on Earhart,
We
yeah.
did that album. But, man, you're bringing me back because, I'm surprised I remember that for.
Who was the idea to do the Michael Jackson cover?
That was, I ain't gonna lie, I can't say that was probably most of all Philip because he was mostly on the Michael Jackson vibe, That's why they play so many songs by Michael Jackson. We just so many songs by
Michael Jackson mini set.
From Living Off the Wall to, I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
All of them,
It was
Don't
that
Stop
time.
Till You Get Enough to
It was the 80s. Michael Jackson was king.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna have to get that to Phil because Grammy was in nowhere toward that era.
Mm-hmm.
But Phil was a Michael Jackson fan.
Mm.
I got to get that to him. I know for sure that was him.
Yeah.
I don't even know if maybe some of the listeners realize too that album is a real defining record for brass band culture and music in New Orleans because of Do What You Wanna, Feel
Yeah.
Like Funkin' It Up, and at the time that you guys were that band, the Dirty Dozen were out there doing some modern shit,
That's
and you
right.
guys were like right there.
That's right, but that's where we really got a lot of our stuff from. When you hear Gemini Rogers and all that, Cameron was looking at Efren and Bloated, while Philip was listening at Kurt Joseph.
Yep.
We all had a role model, and they was the role model. The only difference is the Dirty Dozen was it was too fast, but the Rebirth took it away. But
Your
when
little
people
street
actually danced
swagger.
to a groove to it.
Yeah.
So we broke all it down. Everything they played, we broke it out. Well, they broke it down. But I caught on as they was doing it because I was a kid. Yeah.
Wow.
That's how that went.
Yeah.
But correct me if I'm wrong too. But it wasn't kind of like by that time in the late '80s. By the time it was the late '80s, that the Dirty Dozen had gone on to like the festival stage, whereas you guys were the street band.
Yeah, that's right.
You guys were the street band to beat in terms of like Secondland culture, and you were working every Sunday. You were doing a
That's
parade.
right.
It was Rebirth was the band, and so
That's right.
if I now. correct me here, but like I kind of think about it as like Dirty Dozen kind of gave the spark to the Rebirth, and when the Rebirth hit, that was the thing that made it New Birth, Little Rascals.
That's right, come out.
Yeah. So I'm thinking Stooges and stuff even later than that, but it was in the late '80s. It was you were at the Glass House every Tuesday.
That's when we got after the Dirty Dozen had it first.
Right, the Dirty. So you took over for the Dirty. So what happened at this point is the Dirty Dozen are signed to Columbia Records and are signed to the Rosebud Agency, and they've gone out and they're like being the national touring band, and they were like and I remember because when we were that age. I mean, if you're 23 years old, then making a couple $100 to play for 4 hours in the street is like is great money. Wow,
Yes. But actually, I had to stop you there, David, because not to be joking, we made that in an hour, and our friends called and even had to go walk 4 hours in the second line. We did it because of the love and where we was inspired to see that they did it because we wanted to be just like them. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even about the money. Mm-hmm. It was about, right now that they have to tell these kids you can't look at the money. So it was the money's going to be there. Mm-hmm. You got to love it.
The corner of Royal and Iberville.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I discovered y'all.
Mm-hmm. That's right, on Bourbon.
Royal, 1987.
Oh, they were busking on that corner.
Yeah, that's the corner. That's the corner they were playing on.
I was 9 years old then.
Yeah,
because I got in the band at 86.
Yeah.
And see, that band was only just getting started 3 years, and I come on that full year.
So you guys are at Glass House one night a week, busking all week, and then second lines Tuesdays.
Tuesdays in the Maple Leaf after.
This is Maple Leaf. This is before the Maple Leaf.
That's way before. Now they have other.
I remember that. I was like, man, why do y'all want to play the Maple Leaf? It's just going to be a bunch of white people watching y'all, and y'all were like, yeah.
Hey, no, I know what they were saying. Shit, they paying the money.
So that was that busking situation, and but so. It was 1984. As Chris Strakowitz makes that Rebirth Records. It's like a 4-channel thing recorded at the Grease Lounge, right?
That's right.
That's the first one.
That's the official first one.
And then the second one is the thing that Milton Batiste does, right?
Yes, that's right.
Here to Stay?
Here to Stay. Yeah, that's the first one, Here to Stay. That's the one with Bird on there.
Yeah. Here to Stay's got like some stuff like My Song. Does Here to Stay have a version of Do What You Wanna on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first.
That's the first one. That's
the first Do What You Wanna is on Here to Stay.
Yeah.
And then with Feel Like Funkin' It Up, by this time. And this is the point. This is Do What You Want Part 2 is the Feel Like Funkin' Up record that you're on. Yeah. And this is when it totally like all of a sudden brass band starts to cross over into a point where it becomes this becomes like in a town that was hungry for a new Mardi Gras anthem.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
We've been playing Go to the Mardi Gras and the second line long enough, and then all of a sudden when Do What You Want Part 2 hits, it really all of a sudden it's obviously on OZ and TUL, but they start playing it on Q93, they start playing it on WYLD.
It was for like 6 months they were playing it on Q93.
I have to say one thing: every Mardi Gras, you go ahead and do what you want.
Yeah,
on every radio
station.
It has
become.
Funkin' It Up, Take It to the Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and there's Do What You Want Part 3, which is a 7-inch.
Yeah.
And that's sometime later though. That's like between Live at the Glass House and Take It to the Street.
Yeah.
But at this point, that was like y'all were like the street band to beat at that point. In 89, and then like out on Rounder Records. It kind of felt like that was where you started taking it, and maybe this is that where I don't know, like credit, like this is Allison Miner is kind of like helping make things happen.
Well, I can say this, I won't lie. She was one of the best managers we ever had. No offense to the new ones now, and mainly Ice Cube. He's gone deceased right now.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, he passed away.
Now, Ice Cube, was he your manager or your road manager?
He was our manager.
Oh, okay. Ice Cube Slim.
Slim, that's right.
And weed supply.
Yeah,
he was that too.
I was about to tell you, he had all the marijuana.
Let's bring this in.
I know.
Allison Miner.
Everybody was inspired.
Because he was from Santa Cruz too, right? So you know Ben.
So yeah,
Ben knows.
They had to worry about no pot.
But
I want to know. Wait, I hope I'm not interrupting you.
No.
I know he's got to leave in a little bit, and I want to know, just as a producer kind of guy, about the session of Feel Like Funkin' Up. Like, were you guys all in the same room? Did you record that differently than you'd ever recorded? Do you remember like the setup? Do you guys did it all live and they do some overdubs? Do you remember any of that kind of stuff?
Isolation, maybe.
I would say this. back then, we always was in the same. They just had the mic. We all in
Right.
one big room.
Right.
Wow.
But as we got, it started spreading us out. You in that booth, to keep it isolated.
Yeah.
The tuba might be there, and the snare drum and the bass drum in that room, and the whole band just the front room, got it all together. While we looking at each other, But at one time, it just was all in the same room with the mics.
Yeah. So was
Yeah.
that when you
Yeah.
were all in the same room, close together?
It
and
was
then-
like that for around the records at the Ultra Signing.
Do you remember the producer, Ron Levy? Wasn't he the producer on that record?
You know what?
Yeah, did you have somebody from around? I think he's credited as the producer. I
Yeah,
think
you
on the
got-
next one too.
I ain't gonna lie, half of them, I don't remember half of them that produced them all. I remember when I was coming, I was young.
Yeah.
But I could give you some advice and say things that I knew, before who produced at the time.
Yeah.
I had to go get the damn album and look at it and say, oh, that's who that was.
Yeah. I know you remember Keith Keller
so
though.
I can't tell you.
Yeah, right.
But they could tell you, the older ones, Philip, them, and Cameron, who had their hands and working the deals out.
Right, totally.
Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
The paperwork and all that.
And then was like the percussion and all that. That was overdubbed.
Yeah, we always had to do party tracks because we wanted to make it feel like the streets.
Yeah.
We just clapped them wine bottles and stop signs and
that was different
tamarines.
than what Dirty Dozen was doing at the time.
Yeah.
They didn't really
Oh,
have
yeah.
the party track.
Yeah.
You
Party
guys
track
really-
on Feel Like
Yeah.
Funking Up
Yeah.
is
Great.
incredible.
But-
It
Yeah.
is kind of the loudest thing in the mix on both, and it's split in
Yeah, see,
stereo.
we had that
and it's-
cowbell, bottles, tamarine, we slapping on
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
the shakers and all that.
Making
The
bird
flip-
sounds,
yeah.
whatever.
Big Chief,
Yeah.
like for things like Big Chief,
Nah.
give you that club vibe.
Now, if you hear that there, I'm mainly on really everything on tamarine with Rebirth.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, Philip, Cameron, and Keith, they would tell you Kabuki was on tamarine most of the time.
Yeah.
Because I just had a way with it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
still do.
You sound great on it though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I
really
put my
amazing.
heart to that.
It is. So that really is a unique thing that you guys brought to the table, which now all brass
Yeah.
bands kind of record
Yeah.
with that.
Mainly,
Party track.
when we write stuff, I ain't gonna lie, you might come up with a part, you might come up with a part. We were doing a lot of what that is, collaborating.
Yep.
I mean,
I like Collision. That works.
Yeah,
I mean,
that also works.
We was doing that most of the
Sometimes
time.
it's more Collision.
But after Kramer left, we
Right.
were all,
Everyone writing. I know you write a lot though.
yeah. But then
But
I started-
Kabuki, I'll say Kabuki is
Then I
kind of the
started-
voice of the
Yeah.
writer of the band. Like Kabuki's your
Yeah.
songs are really recognizable.
I just try to keep it street, It ain't gonna be
Mm.
right if it ain't wrong, But all I'm saying, I started getting to my own feeling, saying they're not, and to putting it as it's supposed to be. So I started wanting to write on my own. Philip was cool with it. Keith was cool with it. I started writing some Hot Venom. When I was writing back and forth to Newburgh, Cell Block 9, they come back
Another
to write
classic.
Hot Butt Naked Sex, another hot good number. And now just got another one that's about to come out. I hope you're going to put it out called,
You got a name for it?
Running.
I'm gonna tell it story real
running
quick.
from this loving.
Nice.
Yeah, running from this love.
Let me tell that story real quick because well, Kabuki's not currently in the Rebirth, but I might have the honor of being able to work on the next Rebirth record, and working with another producer, Tracy Freeman, who's done a bunch of stuff with the Rebirth. And when we were talking about songs and even talking with Keith, they're like, man, we need some songs. We need a Kabuki song. We got to get Kabuki to write a song. They were open to collaborating.
Yeah.
So we hit up
Yeah.
Kabuki. Kabuki's like, yeah, I got a song. And he shows up at a rehearsal and he hums it in everybody's ear. And within 5 minutes, the band is playing it and it sounds like the most classic Rebirth song. Like, I've never seen something come together so quickly without like people in the corner learning it. Like, no one even had to take a second to learn it. And it was like just this instant killing song.
It's not really that hard to put a song together. Basically, once you you get your bass line together, we need the bass line. And then once you put your melody together, you got that. But now here comes a change. And after that change, you back to the lead again. It's how many times you want to play it around. You're going to play it 4 times, 2 times, around, whatever. But everything's got to have a change to it. It just can't be straight. You know what I mean? I'm more sure. In this song, you listen to Michael Jackson, the Prince, they got a change in there.
But
Somewhere.
the thing is, with Rebirth and stuff, it was the arrangements. I mean,
Yeah,
it was
but
like the
that's why it's so
trombones, the
easy.
layers and stuff that
But
would
that's
come
why
in.
it's so easy for me, because I've been with them for 30-some years.
You already know
and
how
I
the
already know
arrangement-
what they're about.
Yeah.
Because I am them.
You know how that, okay,
I
this is what
am
the trombones.
Rebirth.
Yeah,
I ain't
totally.
saying that because I can
Yeah.
say that
No, I
shit.
think you can
No,
very
you
legitimately
can-
claim
yeah.
I am them.
Yeah.
Who knows them better than
10,000%.
Who knows them better than me?
Yeah.
I got the TVC sounding like them. That's supposed to be the Rebirth songs.
Yeah.
No offense.
Yeah.
Them songs I wrote for them, even Trombone Shorty said, they should have never left you. I mean, let you go. Clement said, I don't know why they, I say, you know what, I left, I just want to do my own thing, and I still love them. And no love lost, We still brothers no matter what. Keith still give me gigs here and there. I take some, and I don't have nothing negative to say because they helped me too. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? They helped me just as more than I thought I was helping them. So it'll never be no love lost. I can never say nothing bad about them. Because we still brothers at the end of the day. And we always will be. If he need me to write another song, I got so many more in the closet, I got just grab them up right now. I got a few right now, I'll just give them if they need them. But it's up to him. It's not up to me. Because I might take the song myself and just give it to another band and see where I can make money off it, let them make money too. I mean, I'm still going to win. It's a win-win.
Yeah.
The
modern brass band songbook.
Yeah. And my thing is, I always talk good about them. I never talk bad about them, I don't care what happened in the past. I don't want people to know that I have some kind of anger in my heart because if things didn't work out for me. But I look at it like this. They still help me out to where people know who I am. From that little kid to this day. Every time people see me, they don't know me as Spody. They know me as, that's Rebirth. Oh, yeah, that's Rebirth. We don't play with him, but he's still Rebirth. Yeah. I can't shake that. So I'm grateful.
Would it be that you are birth for life?
Yeah.
Good one,
You can say that, Dad.
Just plain to see you can't change me.
Yeah, man.
Birth for life. All right, yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, it's all about, unity, getting together. One love it helps everything grow. You don't ever want to have this person have a bad, a bad, fuel lit over here, and you got a damn good positive fuel over here.
Yeah.
We got to become as one, because that's the only way we can make it. If we ain't one band, one sound, we all over the place, we lost. But if we one band and one sound, we won. And that's all I try to tell these youngsters. One band, one sound. Don't have a big head. You want to win? One band, one sound. The people going to hear that one sound and that how good y'all is, now you're going somewhere. But as long as you're all over the place, you're going to be stuck on the corner. And I learned that by leaving TBC, this band here, that band, if they wasn't, being focused, But they're so busy, they play with the Indians, who that is, Joe and all of them, they barely there. And the other band members, some of them girls over here, I've been there by myself, but I didn't left, But I couldn't handle it all too well. There's too much was coming down on me. I needed them there. They had that one sound. You see what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You might catch 4 missing it, and they got 4 other new people, and I can't get with it because they don't make me feel like they made me feel. They already locked in, they jail. That's how the Rebirth was before I left. I ain't saying they're not jail now. It's good. But before me, Derrick, Chad, and a couple of more, I said left, the sound not the same. I'm sorry. It's like they're fighting up there. They're challenging each other when they should be as one with each other. That's Rebirth. That's Rebirth.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, like y'all one with each other. I come here, y'all, when y'all first started, y'all just finding each other out. Now I can come to Galactic show and just be so happy. Boy, they bad. They come a long way. Well, they jail tight.
Well, it's hard being in a band,
Yeah,
and it's an
jealous.
evolution, though.
Yeah.
Things change. There's an ebb and flow, and with Rebirth, you have different people coming and going.
Yeah.
But there is a core thing there
it's not
that's
jail.
important. Yeah.
It's them. They can play.
Yeah.
But when I was in that band, and Derrick Taylor was in that band, nothing couldn't get in front of us.
Yeah, it was fun.
We would run over them.
Oh, yeah.
And Glenn Andrews, I'm just saying, Peanut, especially when Bomongi Corey was in that band before we won that Grammy.
But I'm thinking the thing is like, so Derrick Tabb plus Keith Frazier is one. AJ Mallory plus Keith Frazier.
Yeah, AJ
but
too.
Kenneth Eyes Austin.
Yeah, all of them was bad.
Eyes, and
I'm not leaving them out.
and Keith had it. Oh no! I'm just saying that. I'm just taking us back to '89 and the record in question, and just like what a fire period it was for y'all that they were able to capture at that time.
Yeah.
But see, at that time, I could put it like this: there was so much on there, especially Wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf would be the one. I don't care.
Wolf would, and the thing is like Wolf, and the other thing is that Kermit is 100%. Kermit is not thinking about a sit down band or Little People's Place or anything outside of. He is focused 100% Rebirth front man for Rebirth, and so all of that, like I mean, so it's kind of like you've got Kermit's charisma and Wolf's chops and Prince sounding like Little Stack Man. They used to call him. It's just a.
I would say this though before I get up out here. Mm-hmm. Kermit really, I know Kermit was going to do his thing even back then,
Really, huh?
Because when he got with Danny Barker, and Wolf used to play with the Rebirth Brass Band, which a lot of people don't know. Oh. Before Kermit even met Danny Barker, with Lucian Barber and Shannon Paul.
Oh,
see, Wolf was a genius even back then. He was a mastermind. But what people don't know is when we used to have rehearsals, Wolf used to tell Philip and Kermit to pulse. I'm just saying. And it would be like, well, that sound, and Prince would be like, that sound about right. And Wolf would look at Prince and tell him, oh, it is right, mother so-and-so. And I'd just be like this. I mean, at rehearsal. I mean, not knocking Philip and Kermit because then it was the only game. But if Wolf brought it, and it was what it was there. He was the home in it, this your part. Phil, stay right here, Phil. Come on, Kermit, we're going to come out here. Even if it's that Mexican special, him and Kermit wrote together. The song, you know what I'm saying? Him and Kermit wrote that, which is a song I still love right now today.
Me too.
You know what I mean? But Kermit, he had his ways, though, And we all said, like I said, we love one another. And I got that from them as a kid before Stafford got in the band, before Glenn got in the band, before Peanut got in the band, before Bo Monkey or anybody got in that band. I was that kid that was trapped in the middle of all that. Oh, man, they used to make me cry. Tell jokes the way I could, but they made me strong either right now.
I bet, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying, and my mom used to always told Philip, Kermit, and Keith, and Wolf, the other Keith, don't let nothing happen to my child. Mm-hmm. They used to say, we got him, Mr. Reese. We got him, But like I said, I love them all right now. They do the same, man. I wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. Mm-hmm. Like I said, they helped me. When I play my horn, I think about what they made me to become. Something solid, something strong, something go-getter, something make me want to go right now. Since I see y'all doing it, well, why can't I go do it? I like to write music now. Quincy Jones said, look, that's how I make all my money. I can't play trumpet no more. I didn't even know he played trumpet until I got the contract. He ever played on his head. He said, who you think been writing all the big band when I was in Count Basie? I didn't know you wrote on Frank Sinatra. Yeah,
that's
Fly me to the.
That's a little history that some people should know. Is that you got to work with Quincy Jones.
Yes, and right now I have a CD putting out. I mean, should have been out by the way. Tracy Freeman is putting out. He have on hold for me right now. Right now, I'm just looking for a major distributor right now to put it out. I got everything already in order. I got to put a band together, start rehearsing. Which we might have to talk about that later, fellas. But anyway, might be on Tipitinas. But I'm just saying, he told you. But all I'm saying, it was good, me, Quincy Jones, because he another one made me to won't stop writing. He said, well, if you can't play, always write music. Guess what? That's mailbox money. He said, I get so many checks. I don't know where they coming from, how they coming, but they all going to my kids when I'm dead and gone. Even all my distributions and all that, Mm-hmm. But, I mean, cool guy to meet.
I bet, yeah.
Oh, man, I mean, when I met him, all I could do... You
were a kid still, too, right?
I was so... Like a little kid, like being in Neverland, like them kids probably about Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. I was like, man. I mean,
maybe a little different.
Not no Pete anyway, But I'm just saying, I'm excited. Just the man. I'm in the studio. He looking at me, telling me when to come in.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I'm like, he tell me, go play again, like without a two Sam. When I did the Montreal, Switzerland tour, when Oprah Winfrey and Jesse Jackson, everybody was over there. Kermit was there. And Kermit sung Placy, What a Wonderful World before we did it. Placy Adam wanted to whip him. So Attitude said, that's all right, we're going to come back with Mac tonight. So Quincy Jones said, let him go do one by himself like he used to do in the French quarters. But he had the box, so I went out there and played Royal Garden Blues. Oh, yeah, I got the videotape of that.
Oh, kill it.
I'm going to send that to you, too. But all I'm saying, man, I had a good time coming up as a kid. I'm almost 50 years old. Don't tell nobody, y'all, but
man, the city's lucky to have you, man. Seriously, you contributed to the culture.
I had fun working with y'all when y'all got me on them songs. I don't know the name of them, but it was fun working with curators or whatever.
Oh yeah, karate.
And
You're on that one with Mystical, yeah.
But look, them songs hot.
Yeah.
And when I heard how y'all mixed that, me and Chad was like, that's butter.
Oh, cool,
thanks,
man.
But like I said, man,
we appreciate you.
If y'all ever need me for any more parts, call me, It may take me a few minutes to catch something. I got to catch it right away, but when I do, God, I'm going to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
And that's what I do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Uber's rolling up
All
for your
right.
gig.
Yeah.
I'm out here, y'all got to go.
Classic. Thanks, Kabuki.
Guess me later. Thank y'all for having me, boss. I see you every day when you're walking the dog in
I
front of the
know,
door.
I know. I'll see
I
you
love you,
soon.
man.
We
And
appreciate
Ben,
you. Thank you for being.
We're going to get together on something else, and I love you, David.
All right, you too, Kabuki. All right,
That's y'all, man.
my man.
So here we are, we're back with Davis.
Hello, hello, hello.
Kabuki's gone.
Oh yeah, that was a whirlwind. He had
Yeah. He really got it all in there.
his gig was he was just going to go play for this one woman solo trumpet at the hotel in
I
Monteleone.
want to go to that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Damn.
Yeah. Well, I want to back up because we've all been listening to Davis talk, but who is Davis? Who is DJ Davis?
Well,
Yeah, the brass band jam.
Okay, wait. Let's start brass band jam.
Okay, well, let's say the summer between sophomore and junior year of college. I will tell you what time it is in keyboard time. Is that someone had stolen John Cleary's DX7. So Yamaha DX7. So he would say, Davis, can I borrow your keyboard? I had an Sonic ESQ1. So I firmly placed this in the late mid '80s, and I was working at this law firm, and I would go to John Cleary's house to get lessons, and then coming back home to catch the streetcar, there was this brass band busking on the corner. Dudes my age. And I kind of made friends with them. And it's sort of funny, because having grown up in, Uptown, and, everyone I went to, Franklin with who stayed in New Orleans was, basically wearing, a red polo shirt and a backwards hat and drinking Bud Light. And I wasn't feeling that, Mm-hmm. And so to meet these guys who were, also class of 84, 85, Clark Bulldogs, me, Ben Franklin, and I just started following them everywhere, to the projects, to the Glass House, and just basically kind of, it was a different time, and I do believe that New Orleans is an open and accepting place, and that if you want to be part of something, that people will accept you, and as long as you put in the time. But do you feel like maybe we had it easier in the 90s?
It was a different time.
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today if it wasn't for the brass band scene and the
brass band scene,
acceptance.
and you were and exactly, you were playing some saxophone for the Rascals. We were playing at Kermit Ruffin's jam session.
Yeah,
There was
Let's back up. Davis was
Okay.
I know Davis from. He was in the house band when Kermit Ruffins was in the Rebirth. There was a point where he was thinking about leaving, and
his first sit-down band.
His first sit-down band.
Sit-down band, meaning they're not marching.
He wanted to get out of the. What we could really do, man. We could do hours just talking about Davis, but Kermit wanted to do his own little thing for a minute, so he hired a band, and he had a jam session at this place called Little People's Place,
right,
where Davis was the keyboard player,
right,
the house band, part of the house band,
and I was kind of like, I got the gig because I had a car.
Yeah, well, so that kind of ties in this story.
Yeah.
I ended up sitting in and meeting Corey Henry, and he offered me to be in the Little Rascals Brass Band. I'd only been playing saxophone a couple of years
because you were a harmonica player.
Think of it, I had a car.
What was your car? Was it a little brown thing? What was it? The Mazda something?
It was like a little brown Mazda. Yeah.
Yeah.
So to enter the brass
everywhere.
band scene, you should get a car.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, yeah.
So anyway, that's I'm sitting here today because of that jam session that you were part of the house band and meeting you.
Well, and I mean, and this kind of can take us back to a more sort of global thing of so that was like in the early 80s, but by the time we get to the mid 80s, there's New Orleans Klezmer All Stars, Galactic, Prophylactic, Iris May Tango,
your band,
all that.
No, that's mid 90s.
So we're going to mid 90s now. We're going from late 80s. But Kermit Ruffin's jam session, I'm going to say, was 91, 92.
No, it started in 89. It must have started in 89, 90, yeah.
89, 90, okay. Fast forward to 7 years later, but the funny thing is about the 7 years later, which is a whole nother topic that we could go on for hours about, you don't realize you're in the middle of something huge when you're in the middle of it.
True.
But we look back and we're like, holy shit, there was a lot going on. It was a very fertile.
The beginning of Frenchman Street.
The birth of Frenchman Street before it became Bourbon Street Light. Yes, there was the golden era of Frenchman Street for sure. So the Rebirth, and I followed them everywhere, and there was the Glass House, and so the Glass House was accessible by streetcar. So we would take me and Arthur Kassler, who was later wound up being the bass player for the version of Klezmer All Stars .1,
And my housemate.
and your housemate. Oh yeah, and you guys had can we say the name? The Marijuana Crash Pad.
The Marijuana Crash Pad.
The Marijuana Crash Pad was you,
Infamous house.
Arthur Kassler, and Henry Griffin.
Correct.
Oh, the one
Wow.
with Napoleon? That's what the nickname was?
Yeah.
Henry
MCP.
Griffin goes on to become a filmmaker and now a film professor at UNO. But yes, the Rebirth, and following them everywhere, and so I was. This is also so. But so the first 2 years of my being friends with the Rebirth, I was back at college. So I go back, and it was 88, 89. So I graduate in 90 before I come back to New Orleans. But they were like, I remember there was that Rounder. No, I'm sorry. Arhoolie Records, Chris Strakowitz's Arhoolie label, puts out the Rebirth. Is it called Live at the Grease or something? Liner notes by Jerry Brock of Louisiana Music Factory fame, and that's like the original band. And it's they're doing mostly trad. So
Cassette only, probably, right?
It was Arhoolie, so it was an LP.
Okay.
That was the last. That might have been the last LP, or the first. It was the first at any rate LP. And then there was something they did with Milton Baptiste, and we could talk about like the waning interest in brass bands. And Danny Barker comes back to New Orleans and forms the Fairview Baptist Band, and the germs of the Fairview Baptist Band go on to do the Dirty Dozen Brass Band. The Dirty Dozen Brass Band are the first people to kind of modernize it, and they take Roger Lewis, who'd been playing horns for Fats Domino and people for so long, and so they had a sort of an older generation bringing this R&B sound, and the younger generation. And Kirk Joseph, fair to say,
From
like
the Dirty Dozen Brass Band.
Kirk Joseph, the sousaphone player for the Dirty Dozen Brass Band, it's sort of like no one plays the tenor saxophone the same after Charlie Parker, and no one plays the electric guitar the same after Jimi Hendrix. And Kirk Joseph was essentially the Jimi Hendrix / Charlie Parker of the sousaphone.
Yeah, agreed.
Because he plays it in such a way that, and Bird Tillman from the Eureka Brass Band was kind of doing it, and then Tuba Fats brings it a little further, but it's Kirk Joseph who takes it and just like knocks it out the park. And that whole sort of like Dirty Dozen Brass Band, and then they get signed to Columbia. And so they're on they're a major national label, and then all of a sudden, on world stage, world tour, and these people who are following, and that's sort of like Leroy Jones is also this Leroy Jones, Lucian Barberin, and all these people are more purveyors of trad, but the Rebirth who start to want to play something modern. And I remember this because the first radio show I had on WWOZ was I did the trad jazz slot, and that was like from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. trad jazz, and I would start to play the modern brass band, and I would get people calling up complaining. Cursing me out. How dare you play this crazy trash, this modern sounding stuff. But so there was a real sort of opposition, but so later on I got to start a program called the Brass Band Jam, and I had a radio show dedicated to brass band music, but there was again Little Rascals, Soul Rebels, Rebirth Brass Band, and New Birth Brass Band, and there's
All-Star Brass Band,
and there's All-Star Brass Band, and there's a huge kind of resurgence of these kids playing this modern music, and to be able to be the community radio station, because you couldn't go online to find out where the second lines are. These parades that happen every Sunday. They go on for 4 hours. Social Aid and Pleasure Club. Look it up. But
your show was on Sundays.
My
too.
show's on Sunday, so I was running from the from the second line to
it would start right after, like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I started at 5:30. So I'm running from the end of the second line. Clinton Scott, who was who's Christian Scott's uncle or something like that. Yeah, Clinton Scott was the DJ who's very patient old man who would watch me running breathlessly, from the second line, and because I would have the route sheets. So I was able to tell people what like the next week's second line was and all that kind of thing. So it was a real real community radio, because there was no online, there was no internet. I mean, the way that you found out about the parades were, one, I would announce it, or then you would have to go to the clubs. You go to, remember Kemp's Kimp's on Washington and LaSalle. We go to Kimp's, or you go to the Grease Lounge, other places, and they would drop off route sheets, and that's where you would find out where the route of the next week's second line. So everyone was like my contemporaries. Huh? We were all like, they're all making new records, they were all making new music, and they're all coming in, and
that was great. They would all
break
come in and play and bring in their CD, and it was just like, it was just such a great resource for. It's kind of a crime that there isn't a brass band show right now.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, I know you started that up, and
I started.
To you.
That was a real privilege to be. I mean, that everyone gave me that level of trust. That everyone, I was suddenly like able to do that. It was a real case of community radio, and glad to have been there for that. I was listening to a cassette the other day. I ran, and it was the Rascals had come into the studio, and it was Keep That Dream Alive. It was a whole bunch of stuff from right around a record that isn't in existence, or we can't get a hold. I don't know. It's messed up and stuff, but there was this live recording, and it's so funny. I have a data of it somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Yeah. The data I have one of these days, Ice Cube Slim always offered to give me $20 for it, and I never did. But I have a data of the Rebirth at the Jazz Tent in 1993, and this is sort of like the 80s. This is like this Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. Was like what year was that Bulls team?
Oh yeah,
it was like
probably right around then too. Probably.
Yeah. So this would have been like Roderick Paulin had replaced Roderick Paulin. Kermit was still in the band, but so the 93. But this 89 to like 93, and I'm not saying like before wasn't anything or after isn't anything, but there was a real kind of fertile period for the brass band where like for Rebirth, like this Feel Like Funkin' It Up record, where they were the street band, and sort of, but then and always trying to maintain a I don't want this to make noise, I just want to give me a track list. Always trying to maintain one foot in the tradition. So they've got like a modern song, like Feel Like Funkin' It Up, Leave That Pipe Alone, and then Shake Your Body Down to the Ground. But then they do come back with like I'm Walking and right. Big Fat Woman. And they wanted to insist that they were still very firmly rooted in the tradition.
Yes.
Big Chief,
There's this BBC recording where they're like, hi, I'm this guy from the BBC, and the Rebirth of the hottest new thing ever. And it was Roderick Paulin, and they come in and they play nothing but trad. And he's like, well, that wasn't exactly the way that I was expecting them to play it. But, they were like, fuck y'all, we want to just show you that they really had a vested interest in proving that they knew and respected the tradition, and that what they came from wasn't a disrespect to the tradition. It was a growth of the tradition.
It was interesting my time with the Little Rascals when I first got to town and ended up in that band. I was amazed at how the kids, I was the oldest, and the youngest was 9. Corey Henry was 14. And they were kids, and they were great on their instruments, and all they listened to was trad jazz or like no limit hip hop.
Yeah.
It was like just between the two of them, and
it was Louis Armstrong
really sat
and
around and
Q93.
listened to Louis Armstrong all day long.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah. You don't
see that very often, right?
No, not at all. Maybe outside of New Orleans, yeah.
And then that was like the height of Treme too, because so let's see if you can help me fill this in. Okay, so there was Little People's Place, but if we're going down North Robertson, there's the Treme Music Hall, Joe's Cozy Corner, the Trombone Shorty, the Grease. The Candlelight.
Yeah, the Candlelight.
So there was like in that area that would be from Rampart Street to Esplanade to Claiborne to north of the downtown of the park. There were 14 clubs.
Yeah, well, I tell people like the way that it worked for the band and the economy of a brass band back then was on a Friday and Saturday night we would play 4 gigs, 5 gigs. You get hired by the hour, and you show up at a bar. Someone's having a party, a birthday, whatever. You show up for an hour, you play, then you go to the next gig, which is similar. Maybe someone's backyard or something. So, and there was just so many bar rooms in Treme that we would bar hop playing for ballers who were paying the band.
So busking and hitting the Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, it was real money.
Hit the Friday, Saturday circuits, and then Sunday. And then Sunday you had your second line.
Yeah. So you could have a full-on, full-time
And it's
Drive
interesting being in the Little Rascals at that time. The Rebirth were who we were sort of emulating.
Exactly. They were the band to beat.
Exactly. And I remember they were really secretive when they would put out an album, like when Take It to the Street came out. They weren't playing any of the songs that they had recorded until the album came out because they didn't want other bands to start playing them.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Because
Beat 'em
everybody
to the-
was
beat 'em to the punch.
adapting the songs, right?
Yeah.
Changing the
Everyone-
lyrics to
we were
like,
playing
we got
Rebirth
fire.
songs. We were playing all that. Yeah, we were playing everyone's song.
Yeah.
We had a few of our own, but we were, you know.
Yeah, you did, and then also the chants, because not necessarily Mystical himself, but there were certain people from like No Limit and stuff who were like following the second lines and doing street chants.
Yeah.
Almost like road testing
They were
street
borrowing.
chants.
Everyone was borrowing from each other back then, for sure.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. A lot of borrowing.
Yeah. A lot of collision.
That was so cool that he came in.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. No, but I remember Phil like, yeah, no, we got this little guy, you know, this new kid. This kid, he's gonna be great. You know, his mom's a little scared of us taking him out, but you know, he's gonna be great. And I've heard him play. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
He's always has been such a strong voice in the band musically. You know, you always know when it's him and his writing style. He's really been a big part of the Rebirth.
Mm-hmm. So feel like funking it up. And did you? Hey, I have a question. Then was it under 46 minutes? Were you able to fit it onto two sides? Did you have to lose something, or just? I mean,
No,
what's
because
up
it originally came out on an LP.
Originally did, yeah.
So
Oh,
it was just
wow.
never.
It was holy shit! It was a rounder LP. It might have been like 30 grams thick, you know.
Yeah.
It was like one of those, like the last of the vinyl. Oh my God, I remember getting serviced with that. Wow.
Yeah, so it fit perfectly, and this
'cause
is the
it came-
first time that it had been reissued since then. It never came out again.
And you did it with NORP, and it's like got that big fat, marbly. New Orleans Record Press, y'all. I cannot say enough good things about New Orleans Record Press.
They help us out big time.
Okay.
I mean, golly, without them, we wouldn't have been able to do what we're doing right now.
It's great to have a local press and people we work with and our friends, and
Yeah,
they're doing a great job.
Absolutely.
They definitely, and they hook us up on scheduling, and it's just, it's amazing.
Yeah, Mike Hogan from Egg Yolk Jubilee was the guy at press. He's like, yeah, you know, you wanted teal, but I gave you smoky teal. I'm like, oh, bruh, you know. so that's
we did the all that. We did that as an add-on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should definitely mention that. You know, Davis comes from not only the radio world, but also created the All That band.
I had a funk band in the 90s.
Featuring Wolf, who we were
Featuring
talking about.
Ben Elman.
Kabuki.
Kurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the original version of All That had Keith Wolf Anderson and Ben Elman on the saxophone, Bryce Miller or Mark Bro on trumpet, Alex McMurray on the guitar, Kevin O'Day on the drums, and Kirk Joseph himself.
Yeah.
While I'm talking and plugging things, I'd like everybody to know that I have a podcast. It's called DJ Davis's Tasting Notes. Yes. Musicians talking about food and chefs talking about music. It's available wherever you find your podcasts.
Mm-hmm. That's a great concept.
I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day you'll have me and Rob on.
I think wasn't the idea of me doing this would y'all would reciprocate?
This is
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We'd be honored.
Yeah. This is definitely scratch each other's back here.
Got to. That's how we get by in this digital world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Davis,
yeah.
we appreciate your knowledge, your encyclopedic knowledge of this brass band scene.
Couldn't do this without Davis. He was
honestly,
our first call.
Honestly, if you ever want to go deep, we'll come back in here and chat about it some more, because there's a lot of stuff that happened. You know, you think about, wow, you know, yeah. So I'll tell you the time that I won third place with Kermit Ruffins at Bobby Marchand's Gong Show. That's a story for another day.
Wow. Yeah, like I said, we need a whole nother podcast. We didn't even talk about Treme.
Right. Oh
The
yeah.
HBO series.
That time that someone based a character on you in that premium cable television station.
Yeah.
That thing. Yeah. Right.
We got the real DJ Davis here.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Davis.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to spinning this one and all your other stuff. I think you're doing really great stuff with this record label, and just an honor and a privilege to be, watch it come and get your releases as they come out. They definitely get spins on my the platters on my upstairs and my downstairs turntable.
We'll make sure you leave the studio with what you don't have.
I shall.
All right, Davis.
Thanks, Davis.
Wow. Wow, that was great.
DJ Davis,
I know.
a man of many hats, my former boss, band leader,
Oh, that's right. You could call him your boss.
97, all that.
Yeah.
Well, it was great having him and Derrick, and we appreciate you listening. And if you're not a member of the club, please go check it out, tipitinasrecordclub.com. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great gift.
Yeah. So the next record that we got coming out is going to be the Sister Gertrude Morgan album, originally on Preservation Hall Records. And we're really excited that we're going to have our friend Ben Jaffe from Pres Hall coming on the Tipitina's Record Club podcast to talk about it with us.
Yeah. Tune in next time. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.